So I'm going to read you guys this dream that I had from October. It's listed in my journal on as of October the 17th. So I'm going to read that to you. I don't know why God wants me to share it, but he does. I was praying for victims of abuse, and then this dream came back to my remembrance, and then he told me to record it and put it out. So here we go. It's not long. It just goes, last night I had a dream where this lady was teaching this class. Well, she was supposed to be teaching a class, but instead she was laid down on the ground behind her desk having sex with her son, her biological son. And there were about 6 to 7 students in her class. All of them were teenage age. They were young, but her son was an adult. I was standing in the hallway. I could hear something outside of the classroom, so I barged in and caught her and her son. The students just sat in the classroom, off to the side, not saying anything. I rebuked the teacher, and I went to all of the students, and I told them, you don't have to be abused to be loved. You don't have to be abused to be loved. I repeated that line several times, and then I gave them each a hug. And then I realized the students in the classroom were all victims of abuse. And some of them there was sick. One of the students, he had leprosy. I hugged them all, and then the dream ended. And I wanted to share that. The line that I said in the dream, you don't have to be abused to be loved. You don't have to be abused to be loved, was something that I said to myself actually around this time last year. And I said that because I was in love with this guy, and but every time I had a conversation with him, he would yell at me. And I don't mean like it was like, like he would yell at me like a dog on the street. He would yell at me real bad. And I remember one day I was thinking with God, and I was talking to God, and I just kept asking him, God, why does this person that I care about, that I love, that I respect, that I revere, that I, for the life of me, cannot think of a reason why they are treating me this way? I asked God, I said, God, why is he treating me this way, right? And I remember I was sitting there talking to God, and then I heard the Lord say, you're being abused. And in my mind, and at the time, I had a very narrow way of thinking in regards to abuse. Like, yes, I know there's different forms of it, but for me to be what to me in my mind, being abused meant someone was physically hurting you or harming you. And so I was sitting there, and I was like, I'm not. I'm not experiencing what you're talking about, God. And as I'm sitting there talking to God, right? And he goes, I said, no, this is what I said. The words that came out of my mouth was, no, it must have been something I did or said that warranted this behavior. Literally, after those words left my lips, I knew what the Lord had told me was true. I knew what the Lord had told me was true, because when I've never really had experiences with people who've experienced like abuse, but what I've seen like on TV, what I've seen on different podcasts, when I hear from people's testimonies and stories, a lot of people say that. They'll say, when they're in it, they'll say, I must have done something. So I knew when my brain had come to that conclusion that I was in fact being abused. And so I had to reconcile with that reality that I was being abused. And I remember thinking to myself as I came to that realization, and And I just said to myself, like, I had to say it over and over again, Kareen. You don't have to be abused to be loved. You don't have to be abused to be loved. You don't have to be abused to be loved. And I'm saying, and I believe the reason why the Lord is having me share this is for the people who are in different types of situations where it may not be physical. It may not be physical harm. It may be spiritual. It may be verbal. It may be mental. It may be emotional. It may be psychological, right? Because the form that I was experiencing was verbal, emotional, and mental. It was all things that was playing on my mind, right? And so and I believe what the Lord is wanting me to say is, whoever this is for, you're in this position, right? Or in this place in your life, right? And you have already experienced some sort of abuse before. You've already experienced some sort of trauma. You're physically hurt, right? And you're in these positions and you're thinking that you need to go through this to be loved, to be seen, to be heard. And I want you to know that is not the case. That is not the case at all. God sees you, He loves you, and He wants better for you. He wants better for you, and He wants you to come out of those situations. He wants you to come out of those toxic places, and He wants you to let Him lead you to the right places, to the right people, to the right churches, to the right, you name it, where you will actually receive the true love of God. The true love of God, and not whatever it is that these people think that they're offering you or whatever that they're doing to you. I just need you to know that you don't have to be abused to be loved. You don't have to be abused to be loved. That's literally all that I have. If the Lord wants me to come back and say something else, I will. But I pray that you all have a good day. And if you need someone to talk to, please reach out to me. I am available. I will not lie. I do take a couple minutes, or not minutes, but it does take me a little while to respond, but I always respond back. Even if it takes a day, I will respond back to you. But I hope you guys are doing so. If you need someone, reach out to me. But I hope you all have a great day and be blessed. Bye.